one topic that's pretty much prime for debate when it comes to the Cleveland Indians, it's attendance. And mainly, it's because of what happened in the early 90s into the early 2000s. 455. You know what that is? That was the sellout streak they had. And unfortunately, it's never going to happen again. Now, let's look into that sellout streak and figure out exactly what happened. What went into it? Let's dissect it a little bit. So let's start at the beginning. Jacobs Field just opens, a brand new stadium. Everyone's excited. Everyone loves a brand new stadium, no matter how good or bad the team is. Luckily, the Indians just happened to be good during that span. They had trips to the World Series in 95 and 97. But we're getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit. Let's back it up real quick, because there's one key factor that played into all of this. The Cleveland Browns. As you all are aware, the Indians used to play at Municipal Stadium, where the Browns played. But they moved to Jacobs Field, along with the Cavs moving back downtown from the Coliseum at Richfield. So 2 brand new stadiums. The Browns did not participate in the Gateway Project. This eventually led to the Browns leaving town. They went to Baltimore, they became the Ravens. This created some money that is now being unused by fans and corporate accounts. That second one is what really matters, but we'll get to that in a second. The fan perspective, they now have money that they used to go to Browns games, but there's not a team anymore. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to the Indians games because you know what? They want to go watch sports, they want to go see it in person, and the team happens to be good. But let's look at it from the corporate perspective. When you're trying to entertain a potential client or keep one and retain their, paying you for what you're offering them as a business, you're going to want to go to the new stadium. So you're going to want to go down to Jacobs Field or Gund Arena because that's the nice new place. You want your surroundings to reflect the services or product you're offering your client. So where are you going to go? Jacobs Field or Municipal Stadium? The answer is going to be Jacobs Field. And the fact that it's during the summer, it's a little bit warmer, and the mistake by the lake down there at the Municipal Stadium can get kind of cold in October, November, December. Even sometimes in September it gets cold. So think about it from that angle. People are going to want to go to Indians games because it's a new stadium and the weather is better. Even with everything seemingly going their way during the 90s and into the 2000s, it seemed to be the beginning of the end as the end of the century neared. And there's a couple reasons why. Let's start with the obvious here. In 1999, the Browns came back. Fans had their football team to root for again. And let's be honest, Cleveland is a football town first and foremost. Always has been, always will be. So that's going to take away fan dollars and corporate money because you know what? That's a new stadium. Guess where they're going to go? The new stadium. Even though it's cold, they're still going to go to the new stadium. Now, you add in the fact that the Indians started to kind of take a little downturn, didn't help matters. And their neighbor next door happened to draft some guy, maybe you heard of him, his name's LeBron James, also a problem. Because who you want to see, a mediocre to bad Indians team, or the chosen one, LeBron himself. You're going to want to go see LeBron. You're going to want to go see something a little bit more entertaining. And add in the fact that basketball is built for that. If you're a corporate person, you want to entertain a client, you want to go watch the best or possibly one of the best ever to play the game. So you're going to go see LeBron. Even though the Indians had a run to the ALCS in 07, they couldn't finish the deal. That seemed to be like a one-off, even though the team was still kind of good. Injuries kind of played into the factor. Grady Sizemore got hurt, then they traded away CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee. The team went for another little downturn, just for a moment. But even then, when things started to come back and go their way, they got Terry Francona, they signed Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne, and they had, the Goon Squad coming off the bench with Jason Giambi. Things looking to be going the right way. Francisco Lindor's on his way up. Same thing with the emergence of Jose Ramirez, but there's a problem. In 2014, there are 2 problems actually. LeBron comes back home, and the Browns actually look halfway competent for a minute. Even though that was a false start, people diverted their attention again. And there's a reason why. Cleveland's not a baseball town. If there's literally anything else that they can do besides watch baseball in person, they will do it. And that's exactly what happened. So that brings us to today. And let's look at today. They've had a pretty good run. They've been one of the most successful teams in baseball over the past decade or so, and yet fans still don't come. They had a trip to the World Series and they still don't bring in the numbers. Let's be real here. It's just not going to happen. And I know the one thing that you will see for people that push back about Cleveland not being a baseball town is the following. If the Dolans spent money, fans would come. That's simply not the truth. The fact of the matter is the Dolans did spend some money sometimes. They had a payroll that eclipsed the $100 million barrier, okay? That is far and above the highest they've ever had in franchise history. And can I tell you something? People still didn't come. Even after their World Series appearance. Even after they had the best record in the American League the next year. Even after they still were a very good team, nobody came. They've had attendance that has been ninth or worse in the American League for the better part of 2 decades. It's simply not going to change. Now, let's add in the factor of the impending name change and the removal of Chief Wahoo. That's just making things worse. I mean, I'm pro removal of Chief Wahoo. I'm pro name change. These things needed to happen a long time ago, but let's get real here. That's not helping matters when it comes to attendance. At the end of the day, when it comes to the attendance figures for the Cleveland Indians, or, future Cleveland baseball club name, it's not going to recover. It's not going to be a thing. It was just a perfect set of events that happened to come into existence in the early 90s into the early 2000s, which gave the appearance of Cleveland being a baseball town, which gave the perception that that sellout streak is something that could be repeated. But there's a reason it hasn't been. There's a reason why people don't come, and it's that Cleveland simply is not a baseball town.